and Squiggly's adventure today?
Oh, well, the circus is coming to town. Okay, boys and girls and mummies and daddies and mamas and papas and all those good grand people, I have to tell you something real quick. I've been making up these stories for a little over 30 years now, and they just come out of my mouth without me sometimes thinking. So this time, GrandMommy had to have a little bit of help, and I had to write a couple of things down. And that's the first time I've ever had to do that, so bear with me here. Okay, here we go. It was Sunday night, and Mrs. Piggy had fixed a beautiful supper for the piggies and herself, and she had her sister, Petunia Pig, over for supper. The piggies, they just loved Aunt Petunia. Oh, she was the sweetest thing, and she was always laughing, and she was always telling stories, and she just was such a nice Aunt Petunia that they just loved her. So anyway, Mrs. Piggy says they were all sitting around having their dessert, and guess what they had? Neapolitan ice cream.
Yes!
Has anybody tried that yet? GrandMommy keeps telling you, tell your mama to go to the store and get Neapolitan ice cream. Okay, back to the piggies. So they were sitting there and they were enjoying their ice cream a whole lot. And Mama Piggy says, "Oh, boys, Piggly, Wiggly, Squiggly, I have a surprise for you. And Aunt Petunia, too." Aunt Petunia says, "What are you getting me into now? What are you getting me into, Patty Pig? You know I don't..." "Patty Pig, what am I getting into?" And Mrs. Piggy says, "You just wait a minute. You just wait. You will find out." So, Mrs. Piggy says, "Piggly, Wiggly, Squiggly, I have a surprise for you. You know the circus is coming to town." I know. Oh my gracious sakes alive. And Wiggly and Piggly and Squiggly, they're jumping up and down. I want to go. Can we go? Well, Mommy Piggy says, "Yes, we are going." And Aunt Petunia says, "You taking those boys to the circus? Oh my heavens above. Oh my heavens above. You know, sister, these kids are going to get in trouble, and they're going to just go, they're just, wow, you're taking them to the circus." And Mrs. Piggy says, "Of course I am." Now, boys, I want you to go to bed tonight, and I want you to think about each one of you boys can invite 2 kids, 2 of your friends. So you go upstairs and you think about it, who you'd like to come, and then you tell me tomorrow morning. Oh, boy, they jumped up the stairs 2 steps at a time because they were just so excited. Well, Mommy Piggy turns to Aunt Petunia, Aunt Petunia, and she says, "Okay, Sister Petunia, you're going to have to go with me and help me corral all these kids." I knew you were going to get me I knew you were going to get me into this, Patty. Patty, oh, and she fans herself some more, and oh my gracious sakes. And Patty Pig says, "Now, Petunia, you know you're going to have a good time. Just stop griping and groaning and complaining. I beg your pardon. My camera crew is just weird today. Let me see what you're going to do. Oh, great. Anyway, so next morning, comes, and the boys come flying down the stairs. What's for breakfast, Mommy? What's for breakfast? Woo-hoo-hoo! And she says, well, since I'm taking you all to the circus, win tonight, this afternoon, win. Shh. Today is Monday, and we're going to go to the circus Wednesday. 3 days? We gotta wait 3 days? Something is wrong, yes. And that's better. And so, anyway, Mommy Pig says, so who did you put on your list? I have to write this down because I have to write invitations to the children and to call their mamas and to see if they can go. Well, Piggy Pig, he picked, how about the wall socket? Okay, he picked the Little Bad Wolf and Patty Pig. Now that's kind of funny that Patty Pig was named just the same name as his mommy's name. But Patty and Patricia are very common names, so you'll find a lot of Patty Pigs out here in this world. Well, Wiggly, he asked to have Allie the alligator and Frankie Fox. Yes, you haven't heard too much of Frankie Fox yet, but Frankie Fox lived in the woods also, and he was a beautiful red-tailed fox. He was so proud of that bushy tail that he had. And and Squiggly, he invited Sally Skunk and Rocky Raccoon. Now, Mommy Pig wrote all the names down just like GrandMommy did. And she says, okay, boys, you go out and play now. Go find some of your friends and go out and play, and I'll ring the dinner bell when it's time. And yes, you can bring all the kids back home because we're going to have peanut butter and banana sandwiches again today. Oh, goody. Okay. Yummy. So, she calls up. Well, she didn't have to call up Mrs. Wolf because there was no Mrs. Wolf, remember? So she sent a note, she wrote a note to Mr. Farmer Brown, and she says, Mr. Farmer Brown, she says, I'm taking the boys to the circus Wednesday, and I kind of wonder if you know where the Little Bad Wolf lives because he won't tell me. And I would like to have you tell him that he's invited. And Mr. Farmer Brown says, oh, of course I will. Of course I will. And so then she called Mrs. Priscilla Pig, and she said, Piggly wants to invite Patty to go with us to the circus Wednesday. It'll be at 2 o'clock. And Priscilla Pig says, oh, Mrs. Pig, you are such a sweet lady to ask them all to go with you. Of course she can go. Well, then she called Mr. Albert Alligator because Allie's mama had also died and went to heaven. And so Mr. Albert says, oh, that would be a good idea. Thank you, Mrs. Piggy. I will just send Allie the alligator down there at, what time did you say now? 2 o'clock? Okay, he'll be there. She says, thank you, Mr. Albert. Well, now Frankie Fox had just moved into the woods about maybe 6 months ago, him and his mama and daddy. So she didn't really know Mrs. Fox all that well, but she knew where they lived, but she thought she had her phone number, so she called him up, and sure enough, it was the right phone number. And she said, may I speak to Mrs. Frances Fox, please? And the lady said, this is she. Who is this? And Mrs. Piggy says, well, this is Patty Pig, you know, the boy's mother. And Frances Fox says, yes, I know who that is. Well, I'm taking the boys and some of their friends to the circus Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And my boy Wiggly wants me to have Frankie Fox as his guest. Oh, thank you. You know, that is so nice of you because we don't know that many boys and girls, and that would be really nice. Thank you, Mrs. Patty Fox, Patty Pig. She says, I would love to do that. 2 o'clock? Yes, 2 o'clock. Send him down to the house here. Well, then she called Mrs. Shirley Skunk. Now, Shirley Skunk, she was a sweetheart. And so she knew right away that it was Mrs. Patty Pig, and she says, okay, what's the boys doing now? Because she knew that her girl Sally was going to be invited to go do something because they always did. So Mrs. Piggy told her, and she says, well, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. So then she called, excuse me, Susan Skunk, and she said, hi, it's me, Patty Pig. And Mrs. Susan says, oh, I bet you're going to do something. She says, what are you going to do? Because her and Patty Pig, mother, Priscilla, they knew how Mrs. Piggy was, and they knew that if the boys were going to do something special, that their girls were going to be invited. So Mrs. Pig told her, and she says, I'll have her there at 2 o'clock. Well, then she called Rachel Raccoon, and she asked Rachel Raccoon if the Rocky could come, and she said, of course. Well, the boys just couldn't wait. They couldn't wait, and they had their little peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and all the boys and girls ate with them, and they went home that afternoon, and everybody took a nice nap. Well, that was Monday. Now here comes Tuesday. Oh my gracious sakes, they were just pulling at Mama's apron strings all the time. When is it Wednesday going to come? It's tomorrow. Why won't it come faster? What are we going to do? They were driving poor Mama Piggy just slap dab mad. And she goes, boys, you have to go outside and play for a little while now. You just wait. Oh boy, Tuesday night comes and they run up the stairs, 3 steps at a time this time, and their little legs, that's pretty hard to do. But they did it. They were so excited. And they said, 2 o'clock can't come soon enough. We just can't wait. We're going to dream about the circus all night long. Well, Wednesday morning comes, and they got up. Now, I don't know where Mommy Piggy buys her fabric from. Fabric is another word, boys and girls, for material. And material is what you make shirts and blankets and pants and everything, dresses out of. Well, Mrs. Piggy, that's right, and mask. Mrs. Piggy had found, are you ready for this? Piggly got a, what color? Red shirt with pink elephants on it. And Wiggly got a blue shirt with blue, what was that he got on his shirt? Blue bubbles on his shirt. Sorry, boys and girls. And so Squiggly got his proverbial green shirt with green alligators on it. Anyway, 2 o'clock just couldn't come soon enough. At 1:30, the boys and girls started coming. And Mrs. Piggy counted. Piggly, Little Bad Wolf, Patty Pig, she was there, Wiggly, Allie the Alligator, Frankie Fox, and Squiggly, Sally Skunk, and Rocky Raccoon. Oh my goodness gracious. That should be 9 people. How come GrandMommy only had 8 fingers up? GrandMommy can't count anymore. Anyway, My audience is counting. So off they go. And they could see the big tent. Oh my gracious sakes, it was huge. Huge, 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 huge. Well, for anybody that hasn't been to a circus before, I want to tell you that it's great big big tent, and it's got 3 rings. Sometimes they're made out of hay, and sometimes they're a little fence. And they walked into the circus, and they sat down. Bye, boys and girls. We'll see you Wednesday or Thursday, perhaps, okay? For the 2nd chapter of The Circus is Coming. The Circus is Coming.
I can't wait.